Now you can come that way, you can come that way. Just hit hard, hard, relax, hard. We're going to be talking today about lady self-defense, and Val's next two videos are going to be on, one, lady self-defense, and two, a speciality video for law enforcement people. Now this lady here is a police officer in the Dallas Metroplex, and obviously she's a lady, so both apply. And she'll be going through the system with Val, which we hope to bring you by the end of this year. And we're going to cover everything that she needs to know for her work, on the basis that she needs to stay alive on the streets and go home to her family. And what we're going to cover today is some very basic self-defense strikes for ladies. Now there's a lot of stuff out there in the martial arts world about defense, for women's self-defense. And whilst myself and Val agree that every martial art has something to offer, some of the techniques I've seen are absolutely downright dangerous. And what we're not going to do is anything too clever. This lady has a background in boxing, a little bit of mixed martial arts, and we're going to try and undo some of that, just from the sense of we don't have time to square up in a ring, or we don't really want to go to the ground and try and choke our opponent in the street, because bad things can happen. While you're trying to choke the guy out, his friends are coming and kicking your head like a football. So we're going to cover some very, very basic strikes and leave it there, because what Val's going to do then is look at the application of those strikes in real-time self-defense situations. Now, in the line of work of a police officer, you've got loads of situations where you've got to restrain, potential threats. And certainly for ladies, a lot of ladies are being taught various wrist locks, and what to do if somebody grabs your wrist. And you'll see it typically where somebody will, if you just go through a motion, you see now, once that hand has become engaged, on my hand, this hand is forgotten. Bang, I start raining down the blows, kick her, because I don't really care. Whatever my intentions are to do with this lady on the street, if the fact is I'm going to grab her, I'm not going to be too concerned about what's going to happen afterwards. So it actually plays right into my hands when someone tries to take this lock off me, because all things can happen. Okay? And that's one of the things that we're going to avoid. So wrist locks, from your own situation, we've discussed it, they rarely work, all right? Sure. So there's no point in trying, especially if you've got a big guy around you. And things like putting on choke holds and arm bars are almost impossible in a situation where both parties, I'm the attacker, my adrenaline's raging. Now the fear factor comes in, her adrenaline starts to rage. Now we're into the fight or flight system, and the fight or flight system will determine whether we obviously run or stand there and fight. But if we use adrenaline, then we're going to have a secondary problem in that it's going to run out. So we've got to somehow find a way to stay calm. I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, and it goes against everything you would think. But one of the most important things you can do is gentle, deep breathing every single day. Filling your lungs, filling your stomach, and just calming yourself, trying to relax everything. And get used to doing this. It's one of the best training aids ever. Lay on the floor and relax and just breathe. Try and have your mind in a state of calm. I know it sounds impossible, and it's also highly improbable when it comes down to the day, but the more you practice it, the more chance you've got of it working for you. What you don't want to get in this highly tense situation and then start to burn out of energy. So we're going to bring Eric in now. He's just going to stand here and become a target dummy for us. We're not going to hit him. Now, what you see in a lot of self-defense situations is, right, let's go for soft target, let's get the eyes. Well, that didn't work because Eric's got glasses on, so we might have to remove them first. Let's get the throat, let's hit the groin, let's break the knees, right? All very valid targets, but are we really going to rely on this when the crunch comes? So we're trying to do, what we're going to teach today is some very simple strikes that are designed to shock the person, to buy you those seconds to get away. We're not going to be too target orientated, because when the time comes and things go wrong, I've got to be looking, oh, where's that carotid artery? Oh, it's there. No, it's not. Let me get the windpipe. And it's going to be almost impossible to have those thoughts going on. So we're going to look at generic target areas. Now, if this lady here is very strong and has got a very good fist, okay, so she can punch, which we'll show on the pads later. So a great target area if you're going to punch is this side of the face here. It's very soft compared to the point of the jaw, which you may or may not hit. A good shot in here on any angle can basically take this section out, especially around the eye socket and again in the front of the nose, if you can get there. But look, there's a height differential here, and now we've got to say, well, how do we get up there and hit him? Do I bother? All of this will be what we talked about later, and Val will go over in much more detail. But we've got the throat and the neck itself, which we can hit with various strikes, which we'll go through. The body, if you can punch, depending on what the person's wearing, a lot of it's common sense. If the person's very heavily dressed with a thick jacket on, absolutely pointless to punch them in the body. The groin is a target which, okay, people talk about it, if you hit them hard, people go down. I've seen somebody walk through a full power groin kick as if nothing's happened. And you hear all these things about, getting your hands in, twisting and screaming. Well, while you're doing that, he's not going to just stand there and let you. And also now you've probably compromised your stance and position. But if it's there and you can hit it, there are various ways of attacking. So certainly from the side, we can hit that way, we can hit this way. And if you've got, for example, if this lady's working and she's got some nice heavy boots on, then a kick well placed straight down to the lower section of the body, around the bladder area, is far more effective than trying to go for a specific target. Same with the knees. You've got the inside of the knee here and the outside where the cartilage is. But again, look at the target. How am I going to kick it? Am I going to come in this angle? What if I miss? Okay? You don't want to agitate your attacker. You want to get him down and out of the way as soon as and as fast as quickly as fast as possible. So yeah, if you step and kick the knee, if you can hit it, it's a great shot. Now again, with heavy boots, a straightforward kick with the toe into any area of that knee is going to cause some damage. Combine that with a quick strike and you've got yourself something that's going to work. So to recap, general target areas are better. Yes, to hit the throat and the neck is a good idea if you can hit it. The side of the face here, the ears, again you can cup your hands and smack them over the ear. But again, is it 100%? Is it a technique I would use unless I really had to? No. Because again, what if I'm that far? What if I miss? What if his head moves? What if I just get the fingertips? I don't want to agitate him. What I want to do is put him out of the game or buy myself that split second to run. So the lower body, around the bladder, belt, groin area, and the knees, depending on what you're wearing. If you're wearing heavy shoes, great. If you're wearing sandals, forget it. Okay? Foot stomping, as people say it's good, it's bad. I can see through his shoes there that if you put some nice heavy, military style boots and dropped your foot or your heel on the front of his toe, he's not going to be too happy. He certainly won't be doing the tango that night. So you've got a lot of target areas, but keep it generic, don't get too obsessed with one, and really it comes down to two things: what position you're in and the opportunity that presents itself. If he's getting a headlock on me, I might have now that great strike into the groin as a start. I might then be able to come up underneath. All the applications will be dealt with by Val. What we're going to do now is go into the actual basic strikes themselves.